Hello, everyone. This is Glen Guyton, your keynote speaker, your diversity and inclusion in the workplace speaker. It's so great to be with you here in the year 2020. I hope you're having a fantastic year so far. Thank you for checking out my channel. And also, hey, could you do me a favor? Make sure you subscribe to my channel. I appreciate that. Share this with your friends too if you think the information is good. But today I want to talk a little bit about white privilege. Woo, that's a scary word for so many people. But remember, you tuned into the channel, so we're going to talk about white privilege. It's in the title, so you know what we're talking about. But I want to talk a little bit about white privilege today. And when I talk about white privilege, when I talk about racism, I really talk about systems, how institutions behave, and privilege. When we talk about privilege, I'm talking about just unearned benefits. That's what we're talking about today. We're not talking about whether you like a certain group of people or whether you work hard or anything like that, because there are a lot of white people that work hard. There are a lot of black people, brown people, people from all different backgrounds that do work hard, and there are many different types of privilege. But today we're going to talk about white privilege, right? So that's why you joined. That's what we're going to talk about today. I just actually read an article and shared a little bit of that with you from Peggy McIntosh. She talks about white privilege unpacking the invisible knapsack. So, basically she's saying that white privilege is something that you kind of carry around that you don't really have to be aware of, but it's just this bag of tricks, I guess, that you have that benefits you in some way, and that comes along with being white. Now, I'm not white, so I'm speaking from my perspective as an African American male and a successful African American male. I enjoy a certain amount of privilege in my life. I live in a pretty nice neighborhood. My wife drives a pretty nice car, and I have things like, I got a brand name shirt on right now. This is brand name on this side, brand name shirt. So, and I've worked hard in my life, right? There are some benefits that I get based on my education. So, I mean, there are different types of privilege, but we want to talk about white privilege and how that impacts diversity and inclusion work in the workplace. And one of the key things is just I think that if you really want to understand white privilege, it's kind of saying that you get the benefit of the doubt, or you get less questions because you are white. The assumptions that are made about a person that is white are different from the assumptions that are made by a person that is a person of color, or maybe even like a woman, different racial, ethnic, or minority groups. And so white privilege just means that you get the benefit of the doubt, or you get a certain advantage because of how you are perceived. So does that mean that you haven't worked hard, that you don't earn certain things, that you haven't put your time in? No, it doesn't mean that. But sometimes, if all things being equal, whiteness can make the difference. And it's privilege in a lot of different areas of our life. I'm 5'9", and most CEOs, most leaders are above 6 feet tall. And so, does that mean I'm any less qualified than a person that's a few inches taller? No, it doesn't mean that. 3 inches, does 3 inches really make the difference? No, but that's some of the perception, how people receive you, the opportunities that you've been given. And so I've been a CEO at 5'9", and there are many CEOs that are over 6 feet tall, but being taller does give you an advantage of how people look at you, how they perceive you, what they think your strengths are, especially if you're going to be in the NBA. It doesn't mean that if you're shorter that you can't get into the NBA. If you're short and you work hard, can you get into the NBA? Yes. If you're very skilled and gifted, you can. If you are 7'2", does that mean you're automatically going to be a basketball player? No, it doesn't. But does everyone want you to be a basketball player at 7'2"? Probably yes. I promise you, most 7 foot tall kids out there, someone's trying to put a basketball in their hands. And so that's part of the privilege of being taller. And so that's how I think we should really think about white privilege. We don't have to get all angsty about it or get all upset. Oh, I don't have privilege. I worked hard. You don't know what my mama's been through. We had to scrape for every dollar that we made. Yeah, I'm sure you did. And that's great. We all have our stories. We all have to work hard. So no one's trying to diminish your accomplishments because they talk about white privilege. It's just something that comes along with the territory. There's certain aspects of your identity which may be more advantageous in certain settings. Hey, when I went and worked for a company, when I was in my 20s, I was the only black kid, young, athletic black kid at the time. Everyone wanted me to be on their basketball team. They just assumed that I could play basketball. Now, I can't play basketball at all. I'm sorry, I can't play basketball. I do have rhythm, but I'm not that great of a dancer. But there are certain assumptions that come along with being black, right? And so we can't ignore some of the stereotypical things that people put on us, and sometimes they're positive, and sometimes they're negative. And white privilege is what it is. Let's look a little bit at some of the things that this article says about a day in the life and the effects of white privilege. It says, I wish I can arrange to be in a company where most people are, same race as I am. These are some of the things that we take for granted if we are white, if we're in the dominant culture. There are many situations where I'm the only black person, especially as you get up higher in leadership. So these are some things to think about. I'll put the link to this article in the description so you can read through it. What it means to experience white privilege. And when it comes to places where you live, the assumptions that are made, where you can go shopping, do people bother you? And so a lot of these things are this hidden knapsack that this author talks about when it comes to privilege. Again, it's not about you being hateful. It's just there are some certain advantages that come. And we have to be mindful of the advantages that we have, whether we are men. I'm a man, right? So there are certain advantages that I have over females, probably in a lot of settings and a lot of work settings that I have to be mindful of. We have to own our identities. We have to own our privilege. And then we have to ensure that the benefits we get aren't hindering or hampering someone else from achieving or having opportunities. That's all we want to do when we talk about diversity as inclusion. We want people to have equal access. We want them to feel safe when they come to their work environments, and we want to have them. We want to provide them the opportunity to fail or succeed based on their own merit. I'll say those things again. We want people to have equal access to the tools and things that they need to live their lives. We want them to have the opportunity to fail or succeed based on their own merits, and we want them to feel safe, right? And we want them to feel safe when they are pursuing whatever it is they're trying to pursue in life, whether it's just going to the store and shopping, or if they are having interactions with police officers. That's all we want when we talk about diversity and inclusion. So that's a little bit about white privilege. It is real. It's not the only privilege. It's the privilege that we talk a lot about in this diversity and inclusion work. If you are white and you have white privilege, what can you do? Don't feel guilty about it. I'm not saying you shouldn't feel guilty about being white and having white privilege. Be proud that you are white. But how can you use that privilege that you have to create equality, to assist other people that may not have the same privilege that you use? If you are a man, if you have male privilege, how can you use your position as a male or a person in power? How can you use the advantages that you have to promote diversity, equity, and inclusion in your workplace? Well, that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for joining me. Remember to like this page, subscribe if you would, please. I would appreciate it very much. Thank you, and I look forward to seeing you next time right here. I'm Glen Guyton. Have a great day.